100.3 better music for a better workday. Philip Phillips and home, and from my hometown of Spanish 4 journalism class of Diamond 4 Junior High in the studio.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest. You could beat the world, you could beat the war, you could talk the guy, go banging on his door. You could be the hero, you could get the gold, breaking all the records they thought never could be broke. Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. Are you ever gonna know if you never even try? Do it for your country, do it for your name, cause there's gonna be a day when you're standing in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. Cause you burn with the burst flame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame.
Let's play Truth or Dare.
All right, Tana, truth or dare? Truth. What is your favorite color?
Easy, blue, Magnus, truth or dare?
Dare.
I dare you to go into the haunted attic. You won't.
Bet?
Bet?
No, guys, we shouldn't go up there.
Why not?
It's not that scary.
All right, let's go. All right. Whoa.
See, there's nothing up here.
Told you, Kenzie.
Oh my gosh, it's a ghost.
What are you doing?
Practicing
Practicing for what?
the dance.
There's a dance?
When?
Next Wednesday.
Whoa. Sounds fun.
It's from 6:30 to 8 o'clock.
It's $3 with your ID and $5 without.
There will also be games, food, and a raffle.
Sounds fun.
So you should come, Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Boo! Okay, that's the end
Love
of it.
that. All right. Hi, I'm Magnus Nichols, and I want to welcome you to the 2019-2020 Hope Squad.
I'm Parker.
I'm Tana.
I'm Abby.
I'm Mariana.
I'm Emma.
I'm Kian. I'm Samuel.
I'm Liz.
I'm Sadie.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Coda.
I'm Jada. I'm Paige.
I'm Hallie. I'm Noelle. I'm Shaylee. I'm Amy.
I'm Ty. Hey, I'm Jason.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Tenny. I'm Ryan. I'm Zach. I'm Brevin. We hope you enjoyed Drug Free Week, and we look forward to Hope Week next week.
Hey, Diamondbacks.
This week was Drug Free Week.
So we created a drug-free message for you. Here it is.
Take a look at this map of the United States.
It shows by color the number of people who have died of drug overdose.
The more red it is, the more people have died from drug overdose.
Watch what happens after 20 years.
Overdose deaths climbed as heroin, long available in inner cities, turned up in rural communities. In a single year, more than 70,000 Americans died of an overdose.
These overdose deaths happen the first time they experiment with drugs.
And if the drug user didn't overdose the first time using drugs?
Then they quickly became hooked on the drugs themselves.
This research explains why.
To understand how reward shapes behavior, Robert Malenka simulates a famous experiment. A mouse is attached to a fiber optic cable and placed in a cage with 2 holes. When the mouse explores the hole on the right, a flash of light sparks a feeling of pleasure in its brain. At the other hole, nothing happens.
Yep, there he goes again, right now. We are learning machines. Our brains have evolved to be exquisite reward seekers, and that was important for our evolutionary survival. But that came with a price. Our susceptibility to developing addictions.
Obsessed with that burst of pleasure, the mouse will probe the hole several thousand times over the next hour.
I mean, look at this. He's just doing nothing else.
This experiment revealed the reward pathway in the brain, primarily controlled by a chemical messenger called dopamine. Dopamine tells your brain to pay attention, that whatever it just experienced is worth getting more of. As drugs raise dopamine levels, they also alter the connections between brain cells, creating memories of euphoria that trigger fierce cravings.
The crazy thing about drug use is that it changes the connections in your brain.
So you actually feel pain when you stop using the drug. Imagine what it would feel like if your body ached all over when you weren't on drugs.
People struggling with addiction soon use drugs to avoid the pain of withdrawal.
Withdrawals will make your bones ache. I couldn't leave the house because I couldn't take a step without soiling myself from the withdrawals. You couldn't talk to me. I'd throw something at you, bite your head off.
When opioids are abruptly stopped, stress hormones are released at catastrophic levels. This imbalance triggers the opposite symptoms of opioid use, including shaking, anxiety, pain, and intense dysphoria.
But the pain isn't the only thing that happens when your brain tries to rebalance.
Drug users reported that they stopped caring about anything and everyone.
Their motivation to do anything vanishes.
This cycle of addiction, says Dr. Corey Waller, starts as the brain struggles to rebalance as drugs overwhelm it with dopamine.
When that happens, the body decreases the production of dopamine, and eventually you can't even get enough dopamine produced to get out of bed, let alone produce good relationships and good decision-making.
To understand what happens to dopamine, Dr. Nora Volkoff has been imaging the brains of people with and without addiction to search for changes that occur with drug use. The number of receptor proteins, seen here as red in the brains of control subjects, are reduced in brains exposed to drugs. Fewer receptors means the brain is starving for dopamine.
Drugs interfere with your motivational drive. So imagine what it means to lose the motivation to do things, to just not have it.
And so anytime someone hears the term motivation, they should really supplant that with dopamine, because without dopamine, you don't have motivation. And so when we look at a person who is in the throes of an addictive disorder and say they just need to motivate, we're telling them to somehow magically make dopamine.
The sad part is, none of us can just make more dopamine.
You're about to meet a man whose drug use cost him his job and his family.
In only 9 days, he spent $21,000 on drugs.
My wife at the time went and seen her sister for 9 days, and I spent $21,000 while she was gone. I did lose my job. I didn't care.
The body has a drive for dopamine, and that craving flips them into survival mode. If you understand that this is about survival for them, you can understand why they steal 20 bucks out of your wallet, why they hawk jewelry from the house.
My habits was putting my wife and my daughter in danger. Finally, she just done what any mother would do, and they left.
That's how people become slaves to a drug.
The good news is that none of us need to go through this.
Life is so much easier when you're free from drugs, tobacco, and alcohol.
As we leave you, Diamondbacks, here are some before and after pictures of drug users.
So never give up your freedom, Diamondbacks.